Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. Welcome to the Prog Corner, where today I'm going to be eulogizing my friend, ex-roommate, ex-bandmate, Casey Chaos. It's ironic that we're going to be talking about Casey on the Prog Corner. He hated prog. He just did, man. He considered it the enemy. He thought that prog rock and, classic rock was the enemy. It was a weapon to be used against the masses. That's the way his brain thought, man. He was a different kind of cat. Born Kareem George Kimilinski, October 9th, 1965, in upstate New York. When he was like 10 years old, his mom and dad separated, and they moved down to Florida, Melbourne, Florida, O'Galley area. And that's where I met him. I'd heard about this dude before because I had moved to Melbourne, and I kept hearing about this guy, this king of punk, and he came into the record store I was working at, and he thought I was weird, and I thought he was pretty weird too. But he was legendary. He was the skateboard kid that went on, to win skateboard competitions and knew everybody. I guess he'd been pen pals with all the cool punk bands, and we all looked up to him, man. And he had all this money. He had like a half pipe in his backyard. He owned his own home, and he was good 4 years younger than me. He had two Mercedes Benz. It was just crazy. He was crazy, man. So I was renting a room, and when I met him, he's like, dude, you're moving in with me. So we started the band Disorderly Conduct, which was a band he had in his head. He'd had stickers, he made flyers, he was sending these out all over the place, pretending like it was a real band. And so we finally got a real band going, especially once we got U.S. Ken Decter on board and Bill Irwin on drums. And in 1986 we put out our debut album, the only album Disorderly Conduct put out, called Amen. We put it out on cassette and on vinyl, which was cool. Casey, of course, up front. There's the great man himself. We lost him Saturday, December 21st. Cause of death unknown at this point. We also recorded a song for this, the Flip Side Volume 2 compilation. Very cool record, man. This has got, who else is on here? Naked Ray Gun, Roach Motel, JFA, DI, Necros, Misfits, The Germs, Agent Orange. So we were in good company there, but he decided he wanted more, right? Casey always had big dreams, man. We'd sit around and listen to music and, talk about, becoming rock stars and whatnot. But, I was more conservative. I was a little worried. I was a little scared. He wanted to move to LA, and that was right at the heart of all that pay to play kind of stuff. And, I figured it wouldn't happen for us, being the eternal optimist that I am. And I was kind of half right, because Casey and Ken Decter, they moved to LA like around 1990. I left the band in 1988, so I guess they were just kind of dormant for a little while. And, they didn't really do a whole lot until Casey put out something all by himself called Slave in 1994. But it wasn't until the actual first album on a major label, Amen, 1999 on Roadrunner. What an amazing album. Coma America, what an amazing song that was. Ross Robinson produced this. He produced the second one also. He's the cat that discovered Korn and Slipknot and all those kind of bands. Shannon Larkin played drums on all three of the Amen albums. We're not going to include Slave. That's kind of not even really an Amen album. That was more of a Casey solo album. But that first Amen album, fantastic. Shannon Larkin, oddly enough, was from the same neck of the woods that Casey and I were in, the O'Galley area of Melbourne, Florida. And I guess Casey knew about him and met him a couple times. I had no idea who this cat was. Turned out, yeah, Shannon Larkin. Yeah, Google him, look him up. You know who he is. And then the second album came out in 2000, We Have Come For Your Parents. This was on Virgin, again, also produced by Ross Robinson. And this album was the one that kind of sort of made Casey, you know what he is. Metal Hammer called it the second best album of 2000. Kerrang had it at number 4. You know, they're doing festival dates and stuff like that. Casey's actually got 2 songs released as singles off that album that charted in the UK, so he's kind of like becoming a somebody. And you know, I was just enjoying all this vicariously, you know, seeing him come up and thinking, you know, it took him forever to get there, but once he did, he made the most of it. He put his body and soul into every performance. Amen was kind of one of those bands that, like, you got to see him live, right? The albums don't really do justice to the pure animalistic energy that Casey Chaos had on stage. And then the third album comes out on a third label, another major though. This was on a Columbia offshoot. This was Darren Malakian from System of a Down. This was Eat Your Music, and this was the very first release on that label, and it was called Death Before Music. Fantastic album. California's Bleeding, such a great song. A few years later, a reformed version of Amen, including U.S. Ken Decter plays on the Henry Rollins show. Just amazing. Then they go dormant for a little while, and then they show up at Knotfest in 2014. And then you hear all these rumors that, oh, Casey's working with Dave Lombardo. Oh, the next Amen album is going to be amazing. And then you hear about the only thing you heard about Casey from that point until now was, you know, stuff that you read about on TMZ. And, you know, we don't really need to necessarily talk about all that because, you know, like I said, we don't know what happened to Casey. We know he's no longer with us. And, you know, it's a dark day for me personally because, you know, he was my friend. And, you know, we shared a lot of moments together. You know, I just think about like when that first album came out and, you know, Maximum Rock and Roll gave it a good review, right? That was like a big deal for us, right? You know, I remember all that stuff and just really sad because I haven't really spoken to Casey in the last couple of years. We did reconnect, you know, not too long ago and, you know, talked to him a few times, had some good conversations. Boy, oh boy, that guy's Rolodex, unbelievable, all the people he knows and all the people that he had met. And, you know, greater things should have been his way, but he had, you know, he did have some problems. He had a lot of physical ailments. He had some mental health issues and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, condolences to Casey's family, his loved ones, his friends over there on the West Coast, in Las Vegas, and, you know, all around the world that knew Casey, loved Casey, for the genius that he was, man. And, you know, you look at those performances of Amen at those festivals in front of thousands of people, and I think about the first couple Disorderly Conduct gigs, and, you know, Casey had his back turned to the audience, man. He wasn't scared of the audience. That's what people thought. He wasn't scared of he just didn't like them. He just didn't like them at all. Oh, man. Just a one-of-a-kind dude. Yeah. Casey Chaos. We'll be seeing you soon, man. Again, I love you. Peace in the Middle East. Free Tibet. And you know what? Casey, my friend, you get a special edition of Snake Dancing just for Casey Chaos. Oh, yeah, we're dancing with rattlesnakes here in the Prague corner. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love you, Casey. I'll see you later. Anyway, we're going to be doing Robert Pollard's solo albums next. That's going to be great. I might get around to that tomorrow. But that's Christmas Day, so who knows when I'll do it. It might be Thursday. But anyway, guys, I love you. Peace.